Hi everybody, this is December 16th, 2024, and it's my video journal of my recovery from the trauma of watching my little brother Paul Kierans be locked up by the BC New Democratic Party for 588 days. We missed 173 scheduled visits. I had an agreement with his group home that I could visit him twice a week, once at the group home, L'Arche, L'Arche, and then he could visit me at my apartment. So it's had an exciting 24 hours since I posted my last video. I thought I posted quite a nice video with the Christmas lights from Mackin Park. But when I got home, I got this nasty email and message from YouTube saying they had removed my video for medical misinformation. I had discussed Canada's medical assistance in dying laws, the decriminalization of murder of vulnerable people in Canada, and explained that Canada, this was Justin Trudeau's scheme or special pet project, along with decriminalizing marijuana. He made it legal to kill people that are not dying naturally, disabled people with very flimsy documentation and evidence and procedures. Canada, since 2016, since Justin Trudeau came into power, Canada's killed 66,000 people. Canada pays regular doctors and nurses to kill about 20 people a day, including veterans who ask for benefits, such as one disabled veteran asked for a ramp to his house to be built, and they asked him if he had considered medical assistance in dying. So as a retired lawyer, obviously this is the most catastrophic outcome I could ever imagine happening in my country. Anyway, so I got this nasty email from YouTube, and I tried. You can't respond. You can't reply. And they said that my video was taken down because I had made medical misinformation about COVID-19. And I thought, oh, Jesus. Anyways, so today I got up early. I had set down a hearing at the Court of Appeal of British Columbia to appeal the decision. I don't know if you've been following, but after my brother died, my evil nun sister, 4,000 kilometers away in Ontario, who has immense funds. She's never worked at anything other than a drug and alcohol counselor her whole life, and she hasn't worked for 16 years, but she could afford $500,000 to drag me through the courts and to lock up my little brother for 588 days. But anyway, so after my brother died, they sued me to have me declared a vexatious litigant, to take away my legal rights to defend myself and to prosecute or to sue others. Like, for example, to sue her for the wrongful death of my brother. Just before he died, when she found out that she was being investigated by the RCMP for a fraudulent forged power of attorney, when she found out that I knew that she was being investigated on April 22nd, she removed my brother's medical supports, including his ventilator. So Paul had a stroke on April 13th, and he was recovering. He was struggling to recover. He was so happy to see me because after he was in the hospital, the evil nun let me visit him in person, and I was allowed to visit him for 10 minutes a day. She's so evil. The poor Catholic Church, it's trying to reform its bad reputation as being abusive. And then they get somebody like her. Anyways, so on April 13th, my brother had a stroke and he was placed in Burnaby General with all the normal medical supports. He had a ventilator, he had intravenous, he had a catheter. And on April 21st, I got a call from the RCMP saying that they had been ordered to reopen the investigation into the fraudulent and forged power of attorney that the BC government had created to appointing the evil nun 4,000 kilometers away in Ontario as my brother's substitute decision maker. And so while Paul was in the hospital, I get a call from the police saying that they'd been ordered by Ottawa to reopen the investigation into this fraudulent forged document. And I was so excited because I'd struggling. I'd going to every possible government agency, begging them to try and help free my brother. And, the Down Syndrome Society, nobody helped. Nobody except for the Civilian Review and Complaints Commission for the RCMP in Ottawa. It took them 2 years to get around to it, but they ordered the RCMP to reopen the investigation into this fraudulent and forged power of attorney that my brother's group home created, making my nun's sister 4,000 kilometers away in Ontario, Paul's guardian. And as soon as the evil nun, found out that I knew, she ordered the doctor, Paul's treating doctor at Burnaby General, to remove his ventilator and to remove his medical supports and to sedate him to death. So within hours of my sister finding out that I knew the RCMP had been ordered to reopen the investigation, Paul was dead. And everybody that I've described this to said, well, they did medical assistance in dying on him. But the thing is, even in Canada, you can't do medical assistance in dying on an incapable adult. They have to be capable of consenting to it. So even Canada draws the line at killing people, vulnerable people who can't consent or who don't understand the significance of asking to be killed. And Paul didn't want to die. I don't know if he would have survived. I don't know what was going to happen, but he shouldn't have been killed. So after Paul died, and my sister knew that the RCMP were investigating her, she sued to have me declared a vexatious litigant because I'm the witness that Paul was killed, that he was tortured, he was locked up, isolated, confined, and then he was killed. And I'm the witness to that. So she wanted to have me declared a vexatious litigant. So they brought on a 5-day hearing on November 18th, starting on November 18th. And the judge, Judith E. Hoffman, Hoffman, said, why was it going to take 5 days? And the nuns, one of her two lawyers said, well, because I have a heart condition and I've got medical orders that I can't be in court longer than 2 hours. I can't appear in court for longer than 2 hours a day. I had a heart attack in 2016. I've got high blood pressure and lupus. And so the judge kept on going past 12 o'clock, and I stood up and I said, oh, well, my 2 hours are up. I mean, with all every judge has always respected those medical orders, and they haven't compelled me to stay for longer than 2 hours a day. But this judge said, well, can't you sit in the gallery? So they're taking my rights away to defend myself in a court of law. And the judge wants, and they've got two lawyers. And the evil nun had flown in from Ontario. And I said, no, I can't stay past 2 hours. I mean, I could, but why would I risk? Why would you put me in the jeopardy of, what if I had a heart attack? Would you take responsibility for that? So I left, and I brought on an application. I filed application for leave to appeal in the Court of Appeal to her decision. What I had asked is that everything stop pending the decision, the investigation of the RCMP, because I don't have the resources that the RCMP have. And there's a police investigation into Paul's confinement, into this representation agreement, the fraudulent and forged representation agreement, and into Paul's death. The College of Physicians and Surgeons have assigned an investigator into Paul's death. And so I filed an affidavit explaining that. And the judge said, no, she dismissed my application for an adjournment. So I've applied to the Court of Appeal, the next level up, asking for permission to appeal that decision. And you only have to give the other side 10 business days notice. So that would have been today. There should have been a hearing today, December 16th. But I get an email from the registry, the Court of Appeal registry, saying that the judge that was sitting today was in a conflict of interest. And so it couldn't go ahead today. And I wrote back and I said, look, this has gone on long enough. This is torture. It's an abusive process. All I need is to give the other side 10 days notice, and then I'm entitled to a hearing. And he said, no, the hearing wasn't going to be until January 15th. So I have to survive another month through Christmas by myself with nobody left alive in the Lower Mainland for me to have Christmas with. My poor brother's gone. And so the registrar of the Court of Appeal writes back and says, well, technically, I've got 2 letters, medical certificates from a cardiologist and from my family doctor. 2 cardiologists and a family doctor. And he says, well, technically they didn't say that making you wait to have your hearing was prescribed. They didn't prescribe that. So I went to my family doctor today, and she was kind enough to write a medical certificate saying that the hearing should take place on Christmas Eve on December 24th, which is the next day that it's available. So, either they're going to say yes or they're going to say no. And if they say no, then I can apply for leave to appeal to the Supreme Court of Canada. So that's the plan. Anyways, Canada, lots of exciting, horrible stuff going on in Canada right now. And please continue to contribute to our GoFundMe account. What they want me to have to do is, the Court of Appeal said that I have been declared a vexatious litigant. And he said, you haven't applied for leave to appeal that. So that's another $280. So please contribute to our GoFundMe account. I'll carry on as best I can, but it really helps. Sooner or later, we're going to turn a corner. I also wrote the Supreme Court of Canada. I've asked them to reconsider their decision. They had dismissed my application for leave to appeal the decision appointing the evil nun, my brother's guardian. And I wrote them this morning, and they still haven't made a decision on that. So I'm waiting to hear back from them on that. The best news I've had all year is that they hadn't dismissed that application at the Supreme Court of Canada. So sooner or later, we're going to turn a corner. Anyways, that's it for now. Paul, I miss you so much. I hope you're having fun in heaven. Take care, everybody.